We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Hey, welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. We're going to start in a few minutes, but I want to tell you to hit up our social sites, retweet, share, comment, like, do all of that stuff. It can only help us out and it'll make the show even better. But we're getting ready to give you a lot of good Ole Miss information, and I just thought I would tell you that because the POMcast is starting. Well, it's starting right now. Wait, no, that's a little early. It is starting right about now. All right, good morning. Welcome to the POMcast on this Thursday morning. I am your host, Stephen Willis, and I hope you are having a fantastic week. I do want to tell you before we get started about Travel and Cruise World. That's 1-800-330-7461. Again, 1-800-330-7461. What I wanted to do was to give you guys a resource down here. Everybody needs a vacation. We're 18 months into this thing right now. So everybody needs a vacation. Everybody needs to escape. Well, these guys can be a resource on the ground to know what's going on at the different rules for each attraction so your vacation is not ruined. You can do exactly what you want to do, and you can hit them up at travelandcruiseworld.com, 1-800-330-7461. Also, I want to tell you about bookatailgate.com. Bookatailgate.com. Take it to the Grove, tailgating and events. Basically, they have it set up. You can rent equipment. You can store equipment. They'll even pick up your catering for it. You want a TV tent? No problem. If you need an extra tent because there's more people coming than expected, no problem. They can hook you up. That's bookatailgate.com, bookatailgate.com, 662-701-1177. Give them a call. Sign up for single game packages for Arkansas. Need to sell out that game. Need to sell it out. But if you want to tailgate, hook these guys up and let them set up and take the worry out of that part of the experience. Also, I want to talk about La Terrain watches. La Terrain watches. That's la-terrain.com watches. They're the official watch of the POMcast. And basically, you can look at all the stylish selection they have. You can get a watch. Please do a promo code of POMcast at checkout. You'll look great. You'll help us out. We appreciate that as well. So, also, if you want to watch the show, you can catch us on at the Stephen Willis or at Old Positively. Twitter's acting a little funky. They're changing over from Periscope to Twitter, so I don't know if there's going to be a hiccup the next couple of days. Be on the lookout for that. Look at our other options as well. If there is a hiccup, you can catch them on the other stuff as well. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast. We're on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Subscribe, hit the bell. You'll not only know that we're streaming, you'll know what we're streaming about. And of course, Twitch, Positively Ole Miss, all one word. Audio-wise, we're on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Pandora, Amazon Music, and Audible. Amazon actually reached out to us to get us on their platform. We appreciate that. So we did that, but there's more ways for you to listen. If there is a podcast out there that you listen to that we are not on that app, let us know. We will do what we have to do to get that on there and help you out as well. Because it's actually an incredibly easy process to move these podcasts over to different locations. So, yeah, if there's someplace you want to hear us, let us know. Also, leave us a review. You can say whatever you want to. Just make sure it's a 5-star review, please. That'll help us out with algorithms and people searching our podcast and things like Apple Podcasts and things like that. So thank you very much for listening. Got through that in about 4 minutes. All right. That's pretty awesome. Today's show, we're going to talk about Alabama. Alabama. Presser highlights are today. We hear from Lane Kiffin. We hear from Braylon Sanders. We hear from Otis Reese. And, of course, in the second part of this segment, we're going to tell you about our picks from last night. If you didn't listen to SEC After Dark, shame on you. our picks are on there, but I'm going to go over our picks today because it's a bye week and we're going to have a little bit of fun and we're going to be able to relax a little bit. Remember also tonight at 6 o'clock, Talking Ball with Bill Flowers airs. That's really good show. If you want to get in the weeds on football, that's a perfect opportunity to do it. It's about 25 minutes of just talking ball. I mean, very, very high level stuff, and he really knows what he's talking about and concerns he has for the Alabama game. He specifically mentions the thing that is keeping him up at night for the Alabama game. So tune in for that via the live stream, or it'll be on the podcast as well. Tonight, Best of the West. We didn't forget about you. We had to move it to a little bit later. Kevin had a little bit of a grease fire, or electrical fire, right before the Best of the West last week that I hosted. And this one, they're trying to do the remodel and get all that cleaned up, and they couldn't do it Tuesday, so they asked if they could do it Thursday. So we have that available as well. It'll be Kevin Bohannon and Jake Thomas. And Jake Thomas is going to talk about Alabama and specifically what's wrong with Alabama, if anything. So you can get the Alabama perspective of what's going on tonight on Best of the West. I do too, Chris. I like our chances of upsetting Alabama as well. It just feels like the stars are aligning. This Ole Miss team, now everything could go wrong from here on. I get that. Understand that. But through 3 games, this is starting to feel like the buildup that was the 2019 LSU Tigers. I'm starting to get Joe Burrow vibes from Matt Corral. So even that game, as unstoppable as they were, they went to Tuscaloosa and played, and I think they won the game by 4 points. As good as that LSU team was, they still struggled in Tuscaloosa, and if it wasn't, I think, for a pick 6, they probably would not have won that game. So, just something to keep in mind of what's going on. The Thaddeus Moss, Clyde Edwards-Helaire just completely made that team. We do need to have a little bit in the tight end position. We're not getting the production out of the tight end position that I think we need to have, especially if this is going to progress. Either Chase Rogers or Casey Kelly or whoever's playing that position, they need to emerge. Hudson Wolf did not play against Tulane. I don't know what happened. He did not play in that game. Maybe he'll get back for Alabama. Maybe this bye week came at the right time for him. But I suspect there's aspects of our offense that are going to be used against Alabama that are not necessarily used right now. That could be a game that Hudson Wolf emerges. They've been doing separate things, different personnel groupings, because they could. I am extremely confident for this football game. Extremely confident. I am ready for it to happen right now. I want to see them play ball right now. And this wait for the next 8 or 9 days is going to be absolutely excruciating. And this is one of those big games. You know, it was... in my lifetime, let's just go over my lifetime. There's LSU 2003. There was Alabama 2014. There was Alabama 2015. There was Alabama 2016. Now, we know what happened in 2016, but that game, when that Alabama game happened, was still a very big deal. And then Ole Miss went into the wilderness again. So, it's a situation where Ole Miss is basically 2-2 in those games. Before that was probably the 90 game against Tennessee for the Sugar Bowl, and they played the home game in the Liberty Bowl for some reason. Ole Miss lost that game. And I think before that was in 86. They played Tennessee yet again in Veterans Memorial Stadium, lost that game. So that is the expanse of big games. Now, Ole Miss going to LSU, that was a big game as well. That game LSU won 10-7 that broke our undefeated string and all of that. That was a big game as well. I get that. I mean, game day was there. But the point is, there's not many of those games out there. Need these guys to perform at the level we expect them to perform at, but not go overboard with emotion, because we make fun of Nick Saban for having teams that look like robots. They're usually never two up because they're so good they can just play. Now, Alabama might be up for this game. Depends on what they do against Southern Mississippi. I expect them to be supremely confident. And they should be. They're the best team in the country. They got 4 and 5 stars all over the field. They got a 5-star transfer from Ohio State that just wanted to go down south. So I expect them to be up. I expect Southern Miss to cover, by the way. That's a little picks thing I'm going to do a little bit later. But I expect them to cover because they're not 46 points better than anybody with this offense. It might be a 42-3 game, but that still won't cover. Think about it. 52-7 will not cover for Alabama against Southern Mississippi. Take the points all day. We're going to go into the practice reaction, the press conference reaction, however you want to put it. And from there, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll come back and do picks, and maybe we'll give you some time back today. I hope to give you some time to back, but we'll see what happens with this little press conference. It's about 6 minutes long. Looking forward to that. Break, then picks. So stick around.
Bye-week practice, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Players run Friday morning, and they have the weekend off, and then we'll get back to work on Alabama. So chance to play some younger players this week, get people healthy, even though that's not a major issue with us this early in the year. So, said before, not the best time ideally for a bye. Wish it was later, but it is what it is.
Just to get better on the smaller things. Back to the basic, man. Back to the fundamentals of tackling, getting off blocks, getting the ball a lot, just getting better in every aspect, getting back to the roots, to the basics.
I have no clue. But, balls in the air, you just try to make a play. Me, Drum, Mingo, and all the other guys that play, anytime Matt throws a ball to us, we trying to make a play.
Not necessarily. I mean, maybe, some DBs because we haven't played many, and receivers as always. Unfortunately, we've not rotated a lot of guys there on the outside. We have this year more on the inside with, 3 slots. So continue to try to find some depth there.
Continually working, man. It's always things to get better on, man. As these games go on, we find things in the field that our coaches find and we need to work on, and then we doing something well. They add more to our toolbox that elevate our game. So it's a special week for us to get better, man. We going out there taking advantage of it.
You get frustrated a little bit, but then when you see it open other guys up like Drum and Mingo and those guys making plays, you just love to see it. So I'm happy for those guys, and whenever my opportunity is there, I'm gonna take full advantage of it.
I've never thought like that. I've never said, okay, when you take a job, year 2, year 3, year 4, this is where you're going to be. Just like I've never said that during a season. We need to win this many games. We're just always trying to improve, and there's so many variables, especially nowadays with transfers that go into it. And as always, you got to have some luck too and stay healthy. So, if you would have said, hey, whatever rankings mean, because rankings do not mean anything really until the last one. But if you were to say, hey, you guys are ranked wherever we are now, 3 games through the second year, and, the energy, nationally that I feel, when we talk to recruits, I would say we're doing pretty well. But again, the final rankings is what matters from a football standpoint. From a recruiting standpoint, I think, the energy around the program, where it is, in kids' minds around the country now versus where it was 2 years ago was dramatically different.
Oh yeah, we started watching film today, and we did a little scouting preparation for Alabama today, and I watch film a good little bit on TV here and there, and come in and meet with the coaches and watch film too. But we just started on Alabama today.
It's great, man. They give defense nightmares, and they never know who to key on. So with all of us just with our ability to go deep, they never know. They can't just key on me to just go get the deep ball now. So they got to key on Mingo, Drum. So they key on Drum, Mingo can go get it. So just give us a variety of people.
Well, I think it's unfortunate because of the weather that the crowd was, the numbers were they were. Because I think judging off the energy earlier during the walk, it would have been pretty electric in the stadium. So the good thing was recruits and players were able to see that during the walk. It just wasn't the same in the game. But talking to kids that watch the game nationally, they don't really see the crowd. They see the production on the field and whatever, the 60-some points halfway through the third. And so that was good. And I think the first game, the time slot where it was at paid a lot of dividends. Monday night where there's nothing else to watch. Even down at the Bucks game, NFL players on the Bucks and Falcons talking about that game to me, just because so many people were watching it. Any other slot you get on a Saturday, you're sharing it.
Oh man, it was crazy. It was crazy, man. It was me, man. It was me, Mark, and it was me, Mark, and Jake. We was in the stands watching it, and it was an exciting game, man. I was guy wanted to put a fight, but we just didn't come out with a win. So this year, man, we ready. We're excited.
If we starting out 3-0, it's a how would I put it? A good or a bad thing happening this early, but we just gonna keep our head down and keep working and just get a head start on Bama.
I did not know that much. I'd heard the name. I knew about the different commitments to different places. I really did not know that much. I watched briefly, right before the interview, some offensive plays or some offensive tape of the guys, especially the young guys, but I did not know very much. I mean, I wouldn't say surprised. I remember the first time I ever seen him throw and turn to Levy and say that's really special and unique. Because he was just throwing a deep ball like 70 yards, like nothing. So he is extremely arm talented. He shows plays every Saturday that people don't make. And I've said it before, Ole Miss fans, need to appreciate this, why you have it. This is a generational arm talent, that you're going to get spoiled with because not too many people ever are going to make those plays that he's making. And there's a lot on Sundays that start that don't make them.
All right, welcome back to the show. I'm Stephen Willis, your host on this magical mystery tour we call Ole Miss Fandom. Thank you very much for tuning in today on this Thursday of a bye week. And by the way, Lynn Brown from Texas, how are you doing? Thank you for the comment. Yes, I agree with Elaine. Also, I wish we did not have the bye right now. I want to keep going. This is, this feels like something that could really mess with our momentum. but you're absolutely correct there. Thank you very much for your comment. As always, the chat is open. The way you do that is comment on the live stream, whichever live stream you watch on. That could be Twitch, that could be YouTube, that could be Facebook, that could be Twitter, and it will appear here. Sorry about that. And I can see the chat even if you can't see the chat. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's not. You'll see what it looks like if you watch SEC After Dark. You'll see what the chat generally looks like and what's going on with it. Also, it's time for us to evangelize a little bit about the show. If you enjoy the show, please tell people about the show. Share it on Facebook. Invite people to join our Facebook group, Positively Ole Miss. Join our Facebook group if you are not a member at Positively Ole Miss on there. All the episodes end up there. Most of the episodes end up in other Facebook groups or on social media or things like that. But YouTube, the Facebook page and the Facebook group are really going to be the three things that you can count on to get every video. Like the situation with the Bill Flowers video, it might end up over on the other Facebook groups. And also share that video, by the way. If you notice that it hasn't been shared, just share it. So this way it isn't always coming from me. But thank you very much for tuning in. We have already defeated our record of viewership. Last month was a record month for us. We're already 25% ahead of that with a week to go. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. You guys are the best fans in the business, and I am just so appreciative that you are coming over and watching this, listening to this, and doing all that. Because also, it's just fun. It's just fun to do this because we're going to talk Ole Miss. We're going to talk not necessarily positively about Ole Miss, but we're not going to get into the grievance culture that's everything. It's like we can't do this because of this. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into rumors with recruiting. I'm not going to get into rumors behind the scenes of what's going on. And we're going to talk about what needs to be talked about. And that could be games. That could be like, what are we looking for? That could just be an honest to God take. But it won't be based on some kind of a rumor that we build the show around. Like some things are done. Like most of the media now, they'll create a poll and they'll do 10 stories about the poll that they created. So they just made the news and they just reported on their news, and that's just a terrible way to be. So picks this week. Interesting. If you want to see all the picks, watch SEC After Dark, or listen to SEC After Dark when they get over there. Missouri is a 1.5 favorite at BC. This is a game I don't have a great feel for. I don't have a great feel for BC. I think Missouri is going to take this game probably by 7, by 14, somewhere in there. Love Connor Bazelak. He's a heck of a quarterback, and he reminds me honestly a lot of Matt Corral when he was a freshman and sophomore. Also, I want to put this out before somebody else jumps on the thing. Matt Corral would not be as good this year if it wasn't for 2019. People that want to say, why did you bench Matt Corral in 2019? This year doesn't happen without that happen. It's not a linear thing. There was a little bit of a self-reflection that he needed to go through in the spring of 2020 when Lane Kiffin first got hired that would not have happened if he would have just rolled through that whole season, if he would not have gotten hurt, if there was no John Rice Plumlee playing quarterback, any of that stuff. That 2019 season is most of the benefit of this season. What happened in 2019, what you went through in 2019, it is actually beneficial to you now. The fact that you went through it, that you did it, you got so many dividends right now. It was really great. Also, Georgia, 35.5-point favorite at Vandy. I'm going to take Georgia in that game. I think Georgia can score 45 points, and I don't see them giving up more than 7. I'm looking at something like that. LSU, a 2.5-point favorite at Mississippi State. This is my upset game of the weekend. Mississippi State, I think, is going to win this game. UCLA gave LSU fits with the short crossing game. This is a game that if LSU gets stubborn and wants to play their stuff, they will short cross them to death, and you will see another 600 yards passing. Also, there's rumors of an injury to Derek Stingley. Keep an eye on Twitter for updates on that. With that offense, also Mississippi State, whenever they get down 2 or 3 touchdowns, the offense looks great, looks fantastic. It's because of that sense of urgency that they play with. The first 3 quarters, they play it safe. So if they can make the whole game look like the last quarter when they're down by 2 touchdowns, they might have something they can run with. Texas A&M -5 at versus Arkansas. It's at Jerry World in Arlington. It's a game that I'm taking Arkansas, mainly because Texas A&M does not have a quarterback run threat right now. Arkansas does. That's the difference, really, in these two teams. Arkansas can tee off on trying to stop Isaiah Spiller. Calzada's got a big arm. He's going to be throwing into a drop 8. Quarterbacks struggle with that. And Texas A&M's defense is really good, but at least with the quarterback, there's got to count for 11. It's 11 on 11. So I'm taking the Hogs in this game. Auburn, Georgia State at Auburn, 27.5-point favorites. I'm taking Auburn there. Kentucky at South Carolina. I'm taking the Wildcats. Tennessee at Florida. I am taking Tennessee in this game, but only if Hendon Hooker is starting the game. If Joe Milton starts the game, I'm taking Florida. And the joke is, if you need somebody to throw the ball 40 yards, Joe Milton is your man. If you need to have somebody throw it 30 yards, Joe Milton can throw it 40 yards. So I don't see much touch being developed while he was injured. So Hendon Hooker's be the guy. Florida's defense has to be beaten with the deep ball. If you allow them to play in that compressed package, in that 3-4, they're going to get explosives on you. They're going to affect your offense in a big way. The only real way to stop them is over the top. You need to go deep. You need to go deep more than you probably think you should go deep, honestly, against that. But I'm taking the Vols if Hendon Hooker starts. Southern Miss at Alabama. Alabama's a 45.5-point favorite. That's too many points. 45.5 means that 52-7 will not cover. Will Southern Miss score a touchdown? Maybe. Ty Keys is getting the start for the Golden Eagles. I think he won 4 straight state titles at Taylorsville in high school. He's a good player, and he has a little bit of that magic. I'm looking forward to seeing how he can do against that defense. I understand it's going to be a mismatch. I understand that Alabama's going to win by 30, 40 points, but I don't see them hitting 45.5 points. West Virginia and Oklahoma. Oklahoma and Texas in our picks, we treat them like SEC schools. We just, trying to get ahead of this. So we will do basically 2 Big 12 games the rest of the year. West Virginia at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a 17-point favorite. I'm taking Oklahoma in this game. I think this is a game that they break out a little bit. They've been kind of stagnant early in the season. So I think this is the game where they start to get right. Last year it was the Texas game when they started to get right. I think they will start to get right this game and move forward. And Texas Tech at Texas. Texas is 7.5-point favorite. I'm taking the Longhorns, Steve Sarkisian, and all that. Texas Tech has completed their transformation from the air raid to a power running team. It's a major system change. Texas Tech went through the potholes. They're actually pretty decent with it right now. So it could be problematic for Texas at times. But I think the main thing that bothered them against Arkansas was the tempo itself. So you got the offensive line. It was more about the tempo. And you might miss a gap, and it was because of the speed of thought. So that is my picks for week 4. I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in today. Tomorrow we'll be back at 10 o'clock. Bill Flowers tonight at 6. We'll have Talking Ball. That's a live in the weeds broadcast by Bill Flowers. And also, let's see, what's the word? There might be Twitter problems over the next couple of days. I'm not sure what's going on. Restream is trying to change over from Periscope to Twitter and all of that stuff. So understand how to watch it on Facebook. Understand how to watch it on YouTube. Just go subscribe to our YouTube channel at Positively Ole Miss. And if you watch on Twitter, you will actually be in the clear probably. So just expect some hiccups in the next couple of days. Thank goodness it's a bye week. And let's see. Tonight, Best of the West, 8:30 Central Time with Kevin Bohannon and Jake Thomas. Jake Thomas, Alabama guy. He's going to talk about the Crimson Tide. He's going to talk about the Florida game. He's going to talk about what he sees, and he is going to be supremely confident. Expect that. So have fun with that. Tomorrow, we'll have the POMcast, same time. Then we'll take off like we normally do, and then we'll be back on Sunday for the review show. So, I guess for me, for Stephen Willis, thank you very much for watching the show, tuning into the show, and we will see you tomorrow. Absolutely. Hope everybody has a great day, and of course, hotty toddy.